What is up, guys? How we doing? How we doing? I want to say a big thank you to the new subscribers. I did not think that Fortnite video was going to do good at all, and you guys made it do good. YouTube is so weird. The videos I post that I don't think are going to get any attention do, and it's just amazing, and it's because of you guys, and I appreciate it. And then the sword spammers found it, and it came to a screeching halt because it got dislike bombed, but whatever. Anyways, today, I wanted to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. We got the Super Bowl coming up in less than a week now, and I thought it was funny because Charlie Moist Critical came out with a video yesterday basically saying verbatim the same shit that I said in my championship recap round. The same shit. Only 8 people watched it because my football videos aren't very popular, but today I'm going to just dedicate a video to the Chiefs. So, before I go on my rant, I live in Missouri, okay? I'm a Steelers fan at heart, but I have always had a soft spot for the Chiefs. They're the first NFL stadium I got to go to. I've been to Arrowhead 3 different times. I've been to several Royals games. I used to live in Kansas City briefly. I have always had a soft spot in my heart for the Chiefs. My stepdad, one of my stepdads anyway, that I got along with is a huge Chiefs fan, and I felt for him, you know? It's been a minute since they were relevant, and I've always had a soft spot for them, and the Titans, because I lived in Memphis. And the Titans, man. To watch Mahomes come in and whoop some ass was awesome. And to see the Chiefs get up there was cool. To watch him face off against Tom Brady and get his ass whooped by Tom Brady was not only a game I think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs needed, because you need to feel that loss in order to, you need to feel a Super Bowl loss to want it more. But I knew from that moment on that when Tom Brady retires, the Chiefs are going to be fucking dominant, unless Joe Burrow can stop them, and then Joe Burrow got hurt. Then, unbiasedly, I watched their games, and they had the year where they got beat, I think, in the playoffs by the Bengals. And then the next year, they faced off the same year that the Chiefs played the Eagles in the Super Bowl. They beat the Bengals in the AFC Championship because of a horrible, horrible pass interference call. It was an uncatchable ball. Dude barely tugged on the Bengals player's jersey. And look, man, the Bengals are in the Steelers division, okay? I hate the Bengals, all right? I respect the hell out of Joe Burrow. If we're going to sit here and we're going to compare quarterbacks, Joe Burrow went to a winless Cincinnati team, okay, as a first overall draft pick and turned that team around. Got hurt, came back, took them further than they've ever been. Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, came on to an already talented team, kind of like Tom Brady. The quarterback got hurt. Alex Smith got hurt. Mahomes came in, and he ended up balling out. There's a big difference between already coming on to a talented team and going and turning a team around. I personally think Joe Burrow is better than Mahomes. I will die on that hill. I mean, shit, I think Andrew Luck is better than Mahomes. If you look at these players that were number 1 overall draft picks that went to shitty teams and just ended up getting beat the fuck up. Because why? Well, they're on shitty teams. They don't have a good offensive line. So Andrew Luck took a shit ton of hits. Joe Burrow has fucking been injured for season twice. So much potential there went to shit due to injury, and that's a lot different than coming on to an already talented team, an already talented O-line, to where you can just sit back there and ball out. There is a difference. I look at the numbers he put up this year. If the Bengals had a good defense, they would have been amazing, and I think as a realistic Steelers fan, the Ravens and the Bengals are going to own the AFC North for the next decade. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, that pass interference call in that game couldn't have been more blatant. And then it was like, okay, well, that sucks to see. It sucks to see an AFC Championship game come down to a bad call, but whatever. It's the Chiefs and Eagles Super Bowl. Let's watch that. And I was rooting for the Chiefs. I want you to understand that I was rooting for the Chiefs in the Bengals game and in the Eagles Super Bowl. But it came down to a bad call in the Super Bowl, in the biggest spotlight of the year. Bad call at the end of the game, not allowing the Eagles to get the ball back, which gave the Chiefs the first down to end the game. And if the Eagles would have gotten the ball back, they probably would have won. And then the next year, after seeing this abysmal play calling, the Bills beat the Chiefs due to an offsides call, which I'm sorry, but that doesn't define a game. Like, not all, yes, bad officiating does determine the outcome of games sometimes, but you don't get to blame a loss on an offsides call. And after getting a ring due to bad officiating, to watch Mahomes not even shake Allen's hand and say, hey, that offsides call was bullshit, man, after Allen has taken it on the chin how many fucking times? And then the team freak out for an entire week over a valid fucking call after winning a Super Bowl that they never should have been at, really started to give me a sour taste in my mouth about the Chiefs and the diva mindset they're starting to have. And now they're at the point where they just fucking play into it and lean into the bad calls and flop all over the place like LeBron James, but whatever. Let the players play, old Patrick Mahomes said, right? Is that something you still believe in, Mahomes, as you're flopping on the sideline looking for a fucking personal foul because you stopped short of out of bounds, Mr. Let the Players Play? I'm going to hold you to that your entire fucking career. Or hey, you want to talk about Kelsey, talking shit to a Bills player, and then when the Bills player comes to talk shit back and barely touches him, fucking Kelsey flops harder than he does in bed with Taylor Swift. Dude, this team, how do you root for them? How? I have literally grown to hate them, and it's because of the way they act, the blatant favoritism, the divaness, and the blatant ignorance from the fans that just refuse to acknowledge these things. That's when my relationship with the Chiefs started to go downhill, or a relationship with the sport. Say what you want about officiating. Bad officiating has always existed. It did when Tom Brady was in the game. You breathed on Tom Brady, it was 15 yards. Everybody knows that. Same with Aaron Rodgers. It seems like the teams that are doing dominant at the time, that are bringing in the most ratings at the time, are favored by the refs. Always have been. Right? But there has never been a year more blatant than this year. Every single Chiefs game was a fucking controversial, bad calls circus. And the difference, what made me hate the Chiefs as somebody that used to like them, is their fans. Their inability to admit that the refs favor them. See, if I was a Steelers fan, right? If the Steelers were doing good and they were in the Chiefs' position and they were getting favored by the refs all the time, I would be the first one to come out and say, hey, that's horrible officiating, but we'll take it. Whatever, it ruins the fucking sport. But hey, whatever. But Chiefs fans, no. They'll sit here and they'll somehow counter it. They'll deny it. Oh, hey, there was a missed call on this, so that makes these 10 horrible calls okay. So let's talk about what we've seen this postseason, okay? Because, first of all, the Bills game, you had that catch that was not a catch by any accounts at all that led to a touchdown for the Chiefs, and then you had that terrible marking of where the ball was. But despite the refs being shitty in this game, I do not think that's why the Bills lost this game. The Bills played terrible the first half. That first fucking drive on the Bills, you could see the fear in Josh Allen's eyes. You know, I mean, you go into Arrowhead. If you haven't been there, Arrowhead is the loudest stadium in the NFL. It absolutely plays a part, and if the road to the Super Bowl leads through Arrowhead, that is going, in itself, going to impact it. But the Chiefs beat the Bills at home in postseason. I feel like that's worth mentioning. So, at this point, you can just see the fear in Josh Allen's eyes. They did not play very well. They had so many push plays where Josh Allen went left and did not convert on fourth down. They had so many predictable plays. Those two calls didn't help by any means. But to be realistic, the Bills had every chance in the world to win that game. They got the ball back with 3 minutes left, and they could have scored, ran out the clock, and beat the Chiefs. And what did they do? They did nothing. The Chiefs' defense played hella well, came out with the blitz. Somehow, some way, Josh Allen put it up there to Kincaid, and Kincaid didn't grab it. But that's because he didn't turn around and realize he was being thrown to until a tad too late. So, while yes, there was awful officiating in this game, I do not think the refs are why the Bills lost. I think the Bills beat themselves because they were once you've lost to a team so many times in the playoffs, that has got to be mentally challenging moving forward. And playing in Arrowhead is not easy. Now, I wanted to get that game out of the way so you Chiefs fans watching this realize that I'm not just sitting here blaming the refs for why teams are losing. Now let's talk about the Texans game. That game, that's the refs. That one, absolutely. The Chiefs got beat in every statistical category. They got beat defensively. They got beat on the ground. They got beat in the air. They got beat. But when the refs give you unnecessary roughness call, which was bullshit, that leads to 3 points. Then a personal foul call that leads to 7 points, keeping the drive alive, that led to 7 points. And then a missed false start on the Chiefs that led to a missed field goal on the Texans. And then you could tell that kicker was so shaken up because he almost got hit because of that missed false start that he missed the extra point. So that is 14 points decided by bad officiating. Now the Chiefs are up 2 possessions. What the fuck do you do? That has so much impact on the way that you play the rest of the game. Bills game, they had every opportunity and they blew it despite the bad officiating. We can say if that catch was taken back, the Chiefs maybe wouldn't have scored 7. But to be honest with you, with the momentum they had on that drive, even if that catch isn't completed, I think they had another down. I think they still would have ended up getting points out of that drive. I do not blame, yes, bad officiating was there, but I blame the Bills playing as to why they lost. Meanwhile, the Texans showed up and they played outstandingly, better than anybody expected. And when 10 points are directly handed to a team because of bad calls and 3 points are taken from you because you're not calling a false start, a clear false start that anybody in the world besides Chiefs fans saw in live time, when you saw that field goal and the dude come up on the line, it was so blatant that was a false start. And the fact that it wasn't called was insane. I don't know what would happen in that situation. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it would just be a re-kick, from 5 yards closer, or if that would give them a first down. I think it would be a re-kick. But either way, that should have been called, and then it should have been a redo on the kick. And that's where I knew the game was going to start going downhill. The Chiefs never should have beat the Texans. But if you're the NFL, think about it. Actually, think about it for a second. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist here. But viewer-wise, the Texans and Bills wouldn't have done as well. Everybody wanted to see the Chiefs and Bills rematch. Everybody. So, even though the Texans, in my opinion, beat the fucking Chiefs, they did. I'm sorry. They beat them in every statistical category. You don't win unless you're getting favored. Everybody wanted to see the Bills and Chiefs rematch. So the Texans foiling that plan obviously wasn't going to happen. The Chiefs never should have beat the Broncos. That last second blocked field goal that they got, I've watched repeatedly. That was a legitimate blocked field goal. However, in that game, there were so many bad calls. And whenever you're about to get beat because of a field goal, take away some of those bad calls, that field goal may have not ever been necessary to beat them. My point is that the Chiefs weren't even a top 5 team this year. Realistically, they weren't. Sorry, that's just, look at the numbers. On the AFC side, you got the Bills, Ravens, and on the NFC side, you got the Lions, you got the Commanders, you got the Eagles, you got the Vikings, who ended up being frauds. I'm just saying, you have a lot of teams that looked a hell of a lot better than the Chiefs. The NFC actually looked more dominant this year than the AFC, which is rare. The AFC is usually better. You got the Patriots, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Bengals, you got so many good teams on the AFC. The Bills are now rising up. The fucking Dolphins are putting something together. The Texans are rising up. So usually the AFC is more dominant than the NFC, but this year it was clear that, besides the Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, on the NFC side, you got all, these damn good teams. In the Super Bowl, the Eagles should win. This should be a cakewalk. The Eagles have a better defense. They have a better offense. There is no reason the Chiefs win. The only way the Chiefs win is if Hurts or Saquon fumbles or Hurts turns the ball over multiple times, or if there's bad flags. And I guarantee you, I'm telling you right now, if coming out of this game, that's all anybody's talking about is bad officiating because the Chiefs three-peated for the first time in history, because that makes for a good story, and the only thing people are talking about after this game is bad officiating in the game, I probably won't watch football next year. Because at the end of the day, the NFL is licensed as entertainment. I want you to understand that, because so is wrestling. That means, right, if the NFL were to be scripted or were to push a certain team to the Super Bowl, not just blaming the Chiefs here. Let's think back to the Patriots and their dynasty, right? If they were to be caught doing that, their ass would be covered because they are not licensed. They're licensed as entertainment. That's a big deal. That's a big fucking deal. That means you could, wrestling. It isn't fake. What the wrestlers are doing out there is very real shit, but the story, the outcome of the matches are scripted, right? And they're licensed as entertainment. I don't want to go as far as saying the NFL is scripted. I don't. And if it is, I don't think the players know about it. I don't think you would train your entire life, go to college, play your ass off to be a pro just to play in a scripted environment. I don't think the NFL is scripted. I think they absolutely do favor teams and go with what's the better story that year. Hurricane Katrina came in, suddenly the Saints won a Super Bowl. You see what I'm saying? The fucking Rams, first year in LA, got a new stadium. Who won the Super Bowl that year? The Rams, probably to pay for that new stadium. The Broncos now have Peyton Manning back, 10 years ago, and it's looking like he's going to retire soon. Went and played the Seahawks, got his fucking ass kicked, which was amazing to watch, and what happens the next year? Oh, he wins and he retires. It seems like the NFL is always in interest of what fits the narration for that year, right? I'm just saying, if you look at the evidence, especially over the last decade, it does seem like there's definitely favoritism. And this year couldn't be more blatant. Now, what bothers me about the Chiefs, because this just happens to be the Chiefs right now. If this were any team, I'd be bitching about it. What bothers me about the Chiefs specifically is the fans' inability to admit it. I know there's some Chiefs fans out there that see the favoritism. But dude, when everybody else in the world except for you sees it, you're in denial. It's okay. It's It's not like people are saying that your team sucks. The Chiefs are a very good team, and I think they showed that in the Bills game. They were surprising in the Bills game. The defense played absolutely amazing. Their goal line defense on 4th downs and in the red zone was fucking spectacular. You can't make that up. I mean, the Chiefs' defense looked amazing in the Bills game and scared the shit out of Josh Allen. And saving that blitz for the last play of the game was fucking genius. And the offense did play decent. So, like, they looked good. The Chiefs are a good team. Don't get it twisted. I just don't believe that they are a number 1 AFC team. Half their games, I think realistically, they should have been 10-7 this year. Sorry. But the NFL knows that the road to the Super Bowl going through Arrowhead is very, very, very difficult to win there. It's the new Gillette Stadium, baby. How hard was it to go up and beat the Patriots during playoff time? Damn near impossible. That's why I'm still bitter about that Jones touchdown that wasn't called a touchdown, giving the Patriots home field advantage. So the last time the Steelers made the AFC Championship, instead of hosting it, we had to travel to Gillette, all because of bad officiating. It's always been there. It's always been there. That call on the Jones touchdown specifically gave the Patriots the W, which they shouldn't have got, which gave them home field advantage, which now the Steelers have to go play the Patriots in Gillette Stadium, and they're probably going to lose. It's hard to go up there and win. Versus if the Patriots came to us, this was the one year that the Killer Bees were all healthy, I have no doubt we would have whooped their ass and went to the Super Bowl that year. But the NFL clearly wanted the Patriots to go to the Super Bowl because they're making history here. It tells a better story than what would have been told if the Steelers went to play. And then what happened? The fucking Patriots did the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history against the Falcons. That year is another classic case of horrible officiating, deciding the outcome of the playoffs, even. So, yeah, I'm being hard on the Chiefs and the fan base right now, but it's because it ruins the sport. It doesn't matter who's benefiting, whether it's Tom Brady, whether it's Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be a team that's favored by the NFL. And the clear dismissal of it because you're a fan of that team is bullshit. Like I said, if it was Pittsburgh and they were in this position and they were always getting shitty calls or getting away with missed calls, I would be the first one to point that shit out because it ruins the sport. But Chiefs fans just won't even acknowledge it. They'll argue against it, and they're the only ones in the world that will, and it pisses me off because it's like, dude, just admit it. Just admit it. Just admit that the Texans would have beat your ass if it wasn't for the refs. Just admit that every single time I have to watch a Chiefs game, it is a fucking circus of bad officiating. Just admit it. And then whatever. But the fact that you're in denial about it and acting like this isn't a big deal pisses me off because it ruins the sport. That's why I made sure to mention at the beginning, I have been rooting for the Chiefs. I live in Missouri. I've been to Arrowhead. The Chiefs have a special place in my heart, but you fans are not fans of the sport, dude. You're getting cocky. I'm watching Patrick Mahomes over here fucking stop shy of going out of bounds so he can flop. Fucking Travis Kelce in the Bills game talking shit to a Bills player, and then a Bills player just simply does it back, and then Kelce flops. How as a fan of that team do you watch that and not get irritated at that and not acknowledge it at all? The fact that they know that they're so favored by the refs that they can fucking lean into it now. How does that not piss you off as a football fan? Even if it just happens to be your team that's being favored. It's ruining the sport, dude. It doesn't matter if it's the Chiefs, Patriots, Packers. It doesn't matter who it is. The fact that there is always favoritism in the NFL ruins the sport, and it's getting more obvious than ever. And, dude, it sucks because I enjoy football. I have accepted the fact my team isn't going to be relevant for another decade. sucks, but whatever. I just enjoy watching football. I don't enjoy watching these games, man. I genuinely don't. Not when I know that, hey, I had the Texans beating the Chiefs. I genuinely thought they were, and they should have. But to see horrible call after horrible call after horrible call, now they're up 2 possessions, and then the next game, them play into it, and then it just so happens to be coming from the same person that bitched about the refs for a week over a valid offsides call and literally had the audacity to say, let the players play. How, as a fan of this team, do you see this shit and not get mad? Anyway, we got the Chiefs and Eagles Super Bowl, a Super Bowl matchup that nobody asked for. On paper, the Chiefs should lose, but on paper, the Chiefs shouldn't be here. I guarantee you it comes down to bad calls or turnovers. Hopefully it's turnovers, and it's a good football game to watch. Is that so much to ask for? Billion upon billions of dollars. Roger Goodell, can I just watch a good Super Bowl, please? Please. But I know what's going to happen. If the Eagles look like they're winning, there's going to be a bad call that's going to fucking... If you've noticed, like, go back and watch games where there's a fumble from the Chiefs and the Bills recover. As soon as the Chiefs fumble, the refs throw a flag. Just in case. Just in case. And then if the Bills player didn't get on it, oh, they take the flag away. Oh. Notice how in the Bills game there was literally a flag and then there wasn't? That was why. Like, it is so blatant and it's ruining the sport. And if the Chiefs somehow three-peat, and if the Chiefs legitimately beat the Eagles, fucking awesome. More power to them. But they shouldn't be here, and they shouldn't have beaten the Eagles the first time. They shouldn't have even been there the first time. This dynasty, this three-peat, they shouldn't have won the first one. They did have a legitimate season last year, but again, a lot of bad officiating in the postseason, but a legitimate win over the 49ers. And then this year, they shouldn't have made it. This three-peat was all the NFL, dude. So, hey, that's my opinion. I only live in the state. I've only seen the Chiefs live 3 times. I, legitimately care about this because despite it, I could be dumb and sit here and, woohoo, yeah, hey, the team that's 3 hours away from me is winning. Yay, 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 yay. But I don't want to see that at the hands of ruining the sport. And that's what it's doing. But I think it's always been this way. It's just been less noticeable. And now it's more blatant than ever. And that's my opinion. There you go. A Missourian's honest take on the Chiefs dynasty that never should have fucking happened. Good job, Roger Goodell. You fucking asshole.